There are very few people in American music whose name instantly evokes an entire era, a way of life, and a spirit of freedom. Willie Nelson is one of those rare figures. 4 generations of fans. He has never been just a country singer. He became a symbol of resilience, independence, and authenticity. His unmistakable voice, long braided hair, weathered face, and outlaw image transformed him into one of the most recognizable entertainers in the world. But today, as Willie Nelson enters his 90s, many fans find themselves asking a difficult question. What happens when a man who spent nearly his entire life on the road, under the spotlight, and in front of roaring crowds finally reaches an age that few people ever experience? The answer is far more emotional than most people realize. To understand why, we first have to go back to where it all began. Long before sold-out concerts, Grammy Awards, and international fame, Willie Hugh Nelson was simply a small-town boy born during one of the hardest periods in American history. He entered the world on April 29, 1933, in Abbott, Texas, at the height of the Great Depression. Life was never easy. His parents separated when he was still very young. Soon afterward, both parents left in search of work, leaving Willie and his older sister Bobby to be raised primarily by their grandparents. Money was scarce. The family lived modestly, and like countless Americans during those difficult years, they learned how to survive with very little. Yet amid the hardships, one thing brought hope into Willie's life: music. His grandparents encouraged musical education from an early age. Willie received his first guitar as a child and quickly became fascinated by the instrument. Many children dream of becoming stars. Willie seemed determined to make music his entire life. By the age of 6, he was already writing songs. By his teenage years, he was performing wherever he could. Church gatherings, local dances, small community events. Anything that gave him a chance to play. What nobody knew at the time was that this shy Texas boy would eventually become one of the most influential songwriters in American history. The road to success, however, was anything but easy. Unlike many artists who achieve fame early, Willie spent years struggling to find his place. He worked countless jobs just to survive. He picked cotton. He sold encyclopedias. He worked as a disc jockey. At times, success seemed impossibly far away. But even during the toughest moments, he never stopped writing. And that decision changed everything. Before Willie Nelson became famous as a performer, he first became respected as a songwriter. His ability to tell stories through music was extraordinary. The emotions felt real. The lyrics felt personal. The melodies lingered in listeners' minds long after the songs ended. Eventually, other artists began recording his work. Then came songs that would become legendary. Crazy, made famous by Patsy Cline, became one of the most celebrated country songs ever written. Suddenly, industry insiders recognized that Willie Nelson possessed a rare gift. He wasn't simply writing songs. He was writing timeless stories. Yet even with songwriting success, his own recording career remained uncertain. The music industry of the 1960s often favored polished performers who fit a specific image. Willie didn't fit that image at all. His singing style was unconventional. His phrasing was unique. His appearance wasn't what record executives expected. For years, he struggled against an industry that didn't quite know what to do with him. Many artists might have given up. Willie didn't. Instead, he helped create something entirely new. By the 1970s, he became one of the central figures of the outlaw country movement. Rather than conforming to Nashville's traditional expectations, artists like Willie demanded creative freedom. The movement changed country music forever. Suddenly, authenticity mattered more than perfection. Individuality mattered more than image. And Willie Nelson became one of its most important leaders. His albums began reaching larger audiences. His concerts grew bigger. His influence expanded beyond country music itself. Then came one success after another. Albums sold millions of copies. Hit songs dominated the charts. Audiences connected with his honesty in ways that few performers could match. Songs like On the Road Again, Always on My Mind, and Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain became cultural landmarks. Each song revealed another side of the man behind the guitar. The dream that began in a tiny Texas town had become reality. But fame brought its own challenges. Willie Nelson's life was never free from struggle. Over the years, He experienced financial difficulties that would have devastated many people. One of the most famous examples occurred in the early 1990s when he faced a massive tax debt. Headlines appeared everywhere. Many assumed the crisis would permanently damage his career. Instead, Willie confronted the problem publicly. He continued performing. He continued creating music. And eventually, he worked his way through one of the most difficult financial periods of his life. The experience revealed something important about his character. No matter how hard life became, he refused to quit. That determination only strengthened the bond between Willie and his fans. People didn't admire him because he was perfect. They admired him because he was real. Year after year, decade after decade, he kept moving forward. The awards accumulated. The recognition grew. His influence spread far beyond country music. He collaborated with artists from multiple generations and genres. Rock stars respected him. Country legends admired him. Young musicians studied him. He became something larger than a performer. He became an American institution. Yet time remains undefeated. No amount of success, talent, wealth, or fame can stop the aging process. For decades, Willie Nelson seemed almost unstoppable. Even as other stars slowed down, he continued touring. Even as younger performers entered the spotlight, audiences still packed venues to see him. He appeared nearly immortal. But subtle changes eventually began to emerge. Fans noticed that he moved a little slower. Concert schedules became more carefully managed. Public appearances became less frequent than they once were. The energetic road warrior who spent decades traveling across the country was beginning to feel the effects of age. It wasn't dramatic at first. In fact, many people barely noticed. After all, Willie had always projected strength through perseverance. But the years were adding up. The man who once performed hundreds of shows annually had entered a stage of life that very few entertainers ever reach. His face carried the marks of nearly a century of experiences. His body reflected a lifetime spent traveling, performing, and working. The passage of time had become impossible to ignore. Still, Willie kept going. Again and again, he returned to the stage. Again and again, he proved why fans loved him. But behind the applause, another reality was slowly emerging. The reality of growing older. The reality of watching entire generations come and go. The reality of carrying memories that stretch back almost a century. Most people never witness what life looks like at such an advanced age. Most people never experience the emotional weight of outliving so many friends, colleagues, and loved ones. And for Willie Nelson, those realities have become increasingly impossible to escape. Today, millions still see the legendary performer. They see the icon. They see the Hall of Fame career. They see the smiling face beneath the famous cowboy hat. But what they often don't see is the far more fragile reality that exists behind the legend. Because at 93 years old, Willie Nelson's daily life is dramatically different from the life he once lived. The superstar who spent decades conquering stages around the world now faces challenges that even his most devoted fans rarely discuss. And the truth about how he spends his days today is far more emotional than most people could imagine. For most of his life, Willie Nelson seemed larger than time itself. Year after year, fans watched him step onto stages across America. His voice, his guitar, and his unmistakable presence became constants in a world that was always changing. Many people assumed he would keep performing forever. In some ways, it felt as though he already had. But reaching the age of 93 comes with realities that no amount of fame can erase. Today, Willie Nelson remains active far beyond what most people thought possible. Yet the contrast between the energetic outlaw of decades past and the man he is today is impossible to ignore. The passage of time has transformed nearly every aspect of his daily life. One of the most significant challenges has been the natural decline that accompanies advanced age. For years, Willie was known for maintaining an exhausting schedule. He traveled constantly. He recorded music relentlessly. He appeared at concerts, festivals, interviews, and charity events. Many younger artists struggled to keep pace with him, but even the strongest bodies eventually begin to slow down. In recent years, Willie has openly acknowledged that aging has affected him physically. His stamina is not what it once was. Recovery takes longer. Travel requires more planning. Performing demands greater effort. Activities that seemed effortless decades ago now require careful management. There have also been public reports over the years about breathing difficulties and health concerns that occasionally forced him to cancel appearances. These situations naturally worried fans around the world. Whenever such news emerged, many feared the worst. Yet Willie repeatedly demonstrated remarkable resilience. Again and again, he returned. Again and again, he proved that his determination remained intact. Still, resilience does not eliminate reality. At 93, daily life is fundamentally different than it was at 43 or even 63. The body simply changes. Energy levels change. Mobility changes. The ability to move through the world with complete independence often becomes more complicated. For someone who spent decades constantly in motion, that adjustment can be especially difficult. Perhaps the greatest challenge, however, is not physical. It is emotional. Growing old means witnessing the passage of generations. For Willie Nelson, that experience has been profound. Throughout his long life, he built friendships with countless musicians, actors, producers, writers, and performers. Many of those people are no longer here. Over the decades, he has watched peers disappear one by one. Some were colleagues. Some were close friends. Others were fellow pioneers who helped shape entire eras of American music. Each loss leaves a mark. The public often sees celebrity deaths as headlines. For the people left behind, they are deeply personal experiences. Imagine carrying memories that stretch back more than 80 years. Imagine remembering conversations, performances, and friendships from a world that no longer exists. Imagine seeing familiar faces vanish until fewer and fewer remain. That is one of the hidden burdens of extraordinary longevity. The longer a person lives, the more loss they inevitably experience. Willie rarely presents himself as a tragic figure. In fact, one of the reasons fans admire him is his ability to remain positive. Yet even the strongest spirits cannot completely escape grief. When someone reaches their 90s, memories become both treasures and burdens. They provide comfort, but they also serve as reminders of people who are gone. For fans, Willie Nelson represents history. For Willie himself, that history is personal. Every decade of his life contains people he loved. Every decade contains moments that can never be repeated. That reality becomes increasingly emotional as time passes. Another challenge is the shrinking of one's world. When Willie was younger, his life unfolded across highways, airports, concert halls, recording studios, and packed arenas. Movement defined his existence. Today, while he still performs select shows and remains creatively active, life naturally revolves around a smaller circle. Family becomes more important. Close friends become more important. Health becomes more important. Simple moments often carry greater significance than grand achievements. This transition can be difficult for anyone. For a man whose identity became linked to constant activity, it carries particular weight. Many people imagine aging as a peaceful process. The reality is often more complicated. Aging requires adaptation. It requires accepting limitations that never previously existed. It requires learning how to find meaning in a life that looks very different from the one that came before. For Willie Nelson, that transformation has happened in full view of the public. Millions of people have watched him grow older. Few entertainers have remained visible for so many decades. Fewer still have done so while maintaining such a deep connection with their audience. As a result, fans have witnessed subtle changes over time. The voice is older. The movements are slower. The face bears the marks of 93 years. Yet something remarkable remains. The spirit that carried him through hardship, fame, financial struggles, and personal challenges is still present. That spirit may be one reason he continues creating music. Even in his 90s, Willie has remained committed to recording and performing. For many artists, retirement arrives long before this stage of life. For Willie, music has never been merely a profession. It has been a lifelong companion, a source of identity, a source of comfort, a source of purpose. That purpose may be more important now than ever. Because one of the greatest challenges facing many elderly people is isolation. The world changes rapidly. Technology evolves. Culture shifts. Entire generations emerge with different experiences and perspectives. Many older individuals begin to feel disconnected from the society around them. Willie has largely avoided that fate because music continues to connect him with audiences of all ages. Young fans discover his songs. Older fans remain loyal. His work continues reaching new listeners. Yet even with that connection, there is no escaping certain questions that come with advanced age. Questions about mortality. Questions about time. Questions about what remains to be done. Willie Nelson has occasionally spoken publicly about death with a surprising level of calmness. Rather than treating it as a forbidden subject, he has often approached it with acceptance. That attitude reflects the perspective of someone who has lived an extraordinarily long and full life. Still, acceptance does not erase emotion. Even when a person is at peace with the idea of mortality, the reality remains deeply human. There are memories to revisit, relationships to cherish, reflections that become increasingly important. And perhaps that is where the sadness surrounding Willie Nelson's later years truly resides. Not in dramatic headlines, not in sensational stories, but in the universal reality of aging itself. The man who once seemed unstoppable now lives with the same vulnerabilities that eventually face all human beings. The difference is that the world remembers his younger self so vividly. Fans remember the outlaw rebel, the tireless performer, the charismatic icon standing under bright lights. Comparing that image to a 93-year-old man naturally creates an emotional contrast. It reminds us that even legends grow old. Even icons become fragile. Even the most celebrated lives eventually enter their final chapters. Yet there is another side to the story that many people overlook. Behind the challenges, behind the losses, and behind the physical limitations, Willie Nelson still possesses something many people spend their entire lives searching for: love, family, purpose, and a legacy that few artists in history will ever match. As emotional as his current circumstances may be, the final chapter of Willie Nelson's story is not defined solely by decline. It is also defined by the people who remain beside him, the family who supports him, the children who carry his legacy forward, the fans who continue celebrating his music, and the remarkable perspective that comes from nearly a century of life. Because when we look beyond the sadness, beyond the aging, and beyond the physical struggles, we discover something even more powerful. The question is not simply how Willie Nelson lives today. The question is what he believes truly mattered after 93 extraordinary years on Earth. And his answer may be the most important lesson of all. At 93 years old, Willie Nelson's world is much different than it once was. The endless tours, crowded arenas, and hectic schedules have largely given way to quieter days surrounded by family, close friends, and the music that has defined his life for nearly 9 decades. Through all the ups and downs, family remains one of the most important parts of his story. His children and loved ones have become a source of strength as he navigates the challenges of advanced age. Even now, Willie continues to do what he loves most: music. It has been his lifelong companion through success, hardship, heartbreak, and triumph. Few artists have remained active for as long as he has, and even fewer have maintained such a deep connection with generations of fans. Looking back, his life is a remarkable example of perseverance. He rose from poverty during the Great Depression to become one of the most respected figures in American music. Along the way, he faced financial troubles, personal struggles, and countless obstacles that could have ended his career. Instead, he kept going. That resilience may be his greatest legacy. Today, Willie Nelson's songs continue to reach new listeners around the world. His music has comforted people through difficult times, celebrated life's happiest moments, and become part of the soundtrack of American culture. Long after he is gone, those songs will remain. His story also teaches an important lesson about aging. No amount of fame or success can stop time. Even legends grow older. Even icons face physical limitations and loss. Yet there is dignity in that journey. There is beauty in a life lived fully. For millions of fans, Willie Nelson represents more than country music. He represents endurance, authenticity, and the power of staying true to yourself no matter what life brings. As his final chapter continues to unfold, one thing is already certain: Willie Nelson's legacy is secure. The boy from a small Texas town became a global icon, inspired generations of musicians, and touched countless lives through his music. And perhaps that is the most powerful truth of all. A legend is not remembered for how long he lived, but for how many hearts he touched along the way.